Welcome to The Explainer, everyone. Today, we are taking a deep dive into the sheer resilience and, honestly, the awe-inspiring complexity of the natural world. This explainer is all about the animal kingdom. We're looking at it as a living chronicle of survival against some pretty impossible odds. We're going to explore exactly how millions of years of extreme environmental pressure have engineered nature's ultimate survival machines. It's totally going to change the way we understand life on this planet, so let's get right into it.
To really set the scale of our story here, consider this quote from our source material, "A world older than humanity itself." Just let that sink in for a second. Before cities, before early humans, before even the forests and birds as we know them, there was this vast, ancient world locked in an epic, endless struggle to survive. This isn't just a story about wildlife. It's the fundamental story of life itself, shaped by time, intense pressure, and that relentless drive to live to see another day.
Section 1. Origins of the Animal Kingdom. The 600 million year journey. Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand the animals we see today, we've got to hit rewind. You see, life on Earth started out as this massive, unforgiving experiment. Around 600 million years ago, the land was just totally barren. The oceans were the cradle of life, where these really simple organisms just drifted in ancient seas. Then, millions of years later, natural selection started to reward specific, highly advantageous traits. Some creatures grew shells for armor, others evolved primitive eyes to spot danger. It kicked off this endless arms race between predators and prey. Then, of course, 66 million years ago, total disaster. A massive asteroid impact caused global ecosystems to just collapse, wiping out most of the dinosaurs. But nature is incredibly resilient. Today, modern animal lineages are absolutely thriving. In fact, every single sparrow or eagle you see flying overhead is literally a surviving descendant of those ancient dinosaur lineages. How crazy is that? Section 2. Masters of Survival. Evolution at the Extremes.
That incredible journey through time really proves one thing. There is no single right way to survive out there in the wild. Take the tiger, for instance. They are the ultimate solitary stalker, right? These immense patience and incredibly silent movement through dense vegetation to ambush their prey completely by surprise. But then, in stark contrast, look at the wolf in the frozen northern forests. They survive through this strict social structure. They are a highly cooperative family unit. They rely on teamwork, they communicate over huge distances with howls, and they use complex strategies to take down prey way larger than they are. Two completely different approaches, but both are absolutely brilliant masterpieces of evolution.
Speaking of evolutionary masterpieces, take a look at this awe-inspiring number. 100 kilometers per hour. That is the top speed of the cheetah, officially making it the fastest animal on land. When raw speed is the literal difference between life and death, the cheetah is basically nature's ultimate race car.
But here's the catch, and it's a fascinating biological trade-off. The cheetah's body is highly specialized. It's got a lightweight frame to reduce resistance, a long tail that acts like a rudder for high-speed balance, and these massively enlarged lungs to rapidly pump oxygen to its muscles. But this hyperspecialization comes at a really steep price. After sprinting for just 1 minute, the cheetah becomes completely, utterly exhausted. If the prey manages to escape, the cheetah loses all that valuable hard-earned energy. So every single chase is a deadly, high-stakes gamble. Success means survival, but failure means hunger. Now let's leave the land for a moment and transition out into the oceans. And here's another massive statistic to wrap your head around. 150 tons. That is the weight of the blue whale. It's the largest animal known to science. To put that into perspective, this animal can grow longer than a professional basketball court.
But what I absolutely love about the blue whale is this extreme biological irony. The largest animal to have ever lived on Earth sustains its massive 150-ton bulk by feeding primarily on tiny, microscopic creatures called krill. We're talking millions of them every single day. It's a really profound reminder of how intricately connected the absolute top of the food chain is to the very bottom. Now plunge way, way down below those whales, into the deep sea where sunlight simply cannot reach. Down here, survival requires a completely different toolkit. This is where we find bioluminescence, which is the production of light by living organisms. Take the anglerfish, for example. It thrives in mere freezing temperatures and crushing pressure by using a natural, glowing lure attached right to its head. In the pitch black, curious prey wanders toward the light, and within seconds, the ambush is complete.
It is a terrifyingly brilliant adaptation to one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth.
Section 3. The Spark of Intelligence, Minds of the Animal Kingdom. Now, what's really interesting about this next section is that survival isn't just about physical strength, it's about the mind.
For years, we humans really underestimated animal intelligence, but modern research has totally shattered that old misconception. Look at what we're finding. Chimpanzees actually crafting and using tools to solve complex problems. We've got dolphins cooperating, clicking, and whistling to execute these incredibly coordinated group hunts. We have octopuses that solve puzzles, break out of sophisticated enclosures, and even recognize individual human faces. And elephants? They don't just remember where things are, they remember their family members and show behaviors we closely associate with grief and mourning.
And these traits get incredibly specific. Look at this. An elephant matriarch relies on decades of memory to guide her herd to hidden water sources. During a severe drought, that knowledge literally saves them. The octopus, with its incredibly advanced nervous system, doesn't just solve puzzles using its 8 arms. It can instantly change its color and texture for perfect camouflage. And killer whales, or orcas, pass down unique, complex hunting traditions from one generation to the next. Generational teaching, deep emotional connections, advanced problem solving. As you can see, these are definitely not uniquely human traits.
Section 4. Nature's Delicate Balance, the True Rulers of Earth. Let's zoom out a bit here.
So, we've seen the fastest runners, the deepest swimmers, and the smartest thinkers. But to really grasp how the natural world works as a whole, we have to ask ourselves, who truly rules the Earth? When we think of the animal kingdom, we naturally assume the top predators run the show, right? The lions, the tigers, the massive whales. Well, the surprising answer is actually the insects. For every single human alive right now, there are billions of insects. They are nature's ultimate engineers. You've got ants building massive, complex colonies where millions of individuals work in perfect harmony. You've got bees transferring pollen from flower to flower, a process that is literally responsible for allowing the majority of our plants, fruits, and crops to reproduce. Without these tiny creatures acting as the true pillars holding up our global ecosystems, the world as we know it would dramatically collapse.
Another mind-blowing example of this interconnectedness is the Great Salmon Migration. Check out this journey. They are born in freshwater rivers. They migrate all the way out to the vast ocean where they spend years, and then, guided by instincts we honestly still barely understand, they endure this incredibly dangerous journey just to return to their exact birth streams. But the real magic here is the result of that journey. Their migration miraculously sustains completely different species. Bears, eagles, wolves, and even the surrounding forests themselves rely heavily on the rich nutrients the salmon bring back from the ocean. It's one single life cycle sustaining an entire massive food web.
So you see, every single species has a crucial job. Predators keep prey populations from completely overrunning an area. Herbivores, like elephants, actually influence how vegetation grows. Pollinators support plant life and reproduction, while decomposers recycle all those essential nutrients right back into the soil. If you pull out just one thread of this delicate system, the consequences ripple out everywhere, and the entire interconnected web begins to fail. Nature depends absolutely on this balance to survive. Section 5. The Future We Share, Custodians of the Planet. Looking at all this incredible complexity, from the deepest, darkest oceans to the highest forest canopies, we really have to recognize our place within it all. We share this space, and human activity has an undeniable impact on the source material we're looking at. Forests are being cleared, habitats are getting fragmented, and rivers and oceans are facing pollution. This places immense pressure on the very creatures we've just been talking about. But at the same time, we also possess this completely unique and powerful potential to protect them. By creating national parks, driving targeted conservation breeding programs, and actively restoring broken ecosystems, species that were once near extinction have actually made a comeback. We have the extraordinary capacity to be the greatest custodians of this earth.
Which leaves us with this final, vital question to think about. The animal kingdom is part of the living planet we share. What role will you play in its next chapter? Every single creature carries a story that's millions of years in the making. Their future is our future, and their survival is something we are all responsible for. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope you leave today with a renewed sense of awe for the extraordinary life we get to share this planet with. Keep learning, keep exploring, and I'll see you next time.